When my grandmother died, the only thing she left me was the Lakehouse. That's how my parents framed it. Not she chose you. Not she trusted you. Just a structure with a market estimate attached to it. $450,000. According to the appraisal. But I knew the dock boards she'd replaced herself when contractors overcharged. I knew the way the upstairs window stuck in humidity. I knew which cupboard held the chipped blue mug she claimed tasted better than the others. I was the only grandchild who stayed past sunset. The only one who helped her pull the canoe up before storms. At the reading of the will, my sister squeezed my knee and whispered, "Lucky you." She meant the number, not the history. For a few weeks, my parents spoke carefully. They suggested I let them manage the Lakehouse until I decided what to do. I was 23, working full-time in another city. It sounded reasonable. I hesitated, but hesitation is an accusation. So I signed a temporary management authorization. Not a sale agreement. Not a transfer of ownership. I went back to my apartment and trusted paperwork. 2 months later, my sister's restaurant opened. Glossy photos flooded social media. My parents stood on either side of her in front of a polished wood bar. She captioned one photo, "Dreams funded by family faith." I stared at the brick wall behind her. I recognized it. It wasn't brick. It was paneling salvage from the Lakehouse's basement renovation years ago. That's how I found out, not through confession. Through interior design. I called my mother. "Oh honey," she said quickly. "It was an investment. For the family. You'll benefit in the long run." I didn't agree to sell it. I said. It was under management. My father added in the background. "We made an executive decision." Executive, like I was a shareholder without voting rights. An hour later, my sister sent me a message. "Thanks for your service," a winking emoji. I read it once. Twice. Then I set my phone face down and did not respond. Silence felt cleaner than rage. For 3 months, I said nothing publicly. I didn't comment on the restaurant's success. I didn't argue in family group chats. I didn't accuse anyone. I read the will again instead. My grandmother's language was plain. The Lakehouse was to be inherited solely by, free of encumbrance or interference. Solely. I met with an attorney quietly. I brought the management authorization and the property transfer record it obtained from the county website. The house had been sold under my parents' signatures. They didn't have the authority, the attorney said. Not dramatically. Just factually. We filed a petition. I didn't tell my family. When my mother called and said, "Come home this weekend. We should have dinner and talk." I agreed. I drove down on a Friday afternoon expecting tension. Maybe tears. Maybe persuasion. Instead, my father handed me an envelope when I walked in. "You need to read this," he said. It was notice of the hearing date. My hearing. The petition. "I blindsided us," my sister said, arms folded. I looked at her carefully. "You sold my house. It was for me," she said, as if that justified the math. Dinner never happened. The following Tuesday, we sat in a courtroom instead of around a table. Courtrooms are quieter than people expect. There's no dramatic music. Just paperwork sliding and low voices. The judge listened. My attorney spoke briefly. My father's attorney emphasized family intention and shared benefit. The judge asked one question that changed everything. Was the petitioner a minor at the time of sale? No. My father's attorney admitted. Did she grant power of attorney to sell? No. The judge nodded once. The will is explicit. Ownership was sole. Management authorization does not equal sale authority. The transfer was unauthorized. He paused, reviewing the file. Proceeds from the sale must be restored to the petitioner. If restoration is not possible, assets acquired with those proceeds are subject to lien and potential liquidation. It wasn't shouted. It wasn't theatrical. It was final. I watched my father's shoulders fold inward. He sank into his chair like someone who had misjudged gravity. My sister stared straight ahead, jaw tight. The restaurant wasn't seized that day. The ruling gave them options: repay the funds or face structured asset recovery. Outside the courtroom, my mother grabbed my arm. "You're ruining her," she whispered. "I'm restoring myself," I said. I didn't feel triumphant. I felt tired. A week later, through attorneys, I offered a structured repayment plan instead of immediate enforcement. Monthly installments, transparent accounting. The restaurant could continue operating, but not on stolen equity. My sister never apologized. She sent one message months later. This didn't have to go this far, maybe it did. I drove to the lake months after everything settled. The new owners had renovated the dock. The blue mug was probably gone. I stood at the shoreline anyway. The house wasn't mine anymore. Legally. It had been converted into numbers wired into my account. But something else had shifted, something less visible than property. I understood now that boundaries aren't declarations. They're documents. My grandmother left me a lake house. My parents turned it into a restaurant. The court turned it back into choice. I can't walk through that front door anymore. But I don't hesitate before signing my own name now, and no one manages my life on my behalf.